Commercials. I'm supposed.
All right. Well, we just thank you for tonight, and we thank you for everybody in this room that serves in their own capacity, and help us have open minds and willingness to learn, to listen, and make the best decisions to further the city. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes and reports as presented?
I make a motion.
David?
1 second.
Delmer? Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Is there a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make that motion.
Dot,
1 second.
Delmer? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do we have any citizen comments? Well, we will hold that in case.
Yes, Chamber will be in town on Friday morning doing our chocolate covered strawberries for Valentine's Day annual fundraiser at Jared's Jam. So we will be dipping early. So if anybody needs chocolate covered strawberries, please come to Jared's Jams and get them to support our Chamber of Commerce projects.
Okay. Chris, here to give us an update on our demolition grant.
My coat also won't get all sweaty. Alright, pretty much just need to get some paperwork in front of you for some signatures, but also, we have the last piece of the first half of this project on the historical review. Get these. Actually, it came somewhat prepared, made you all at least. I think I have a copy for everyone here. We were able to secure 2. We had 4 that, out of the preliminary part, had expressed interest, had followed up, and then 2 of them backed out at the last moment, or didn't back out, but just elected not to submit. They were busy or whatever. So you have 2 there. 2 of the 2 different proposals are there.
I have both of them.
Thank you.
Good enough for everybody? Pick one here. Okay. Thank you. I don't know if you want to look through those, or I can kind of fill you in. You have 2 different. So basically, how we worked on this is the Department of Natural Resources (DNR) maintains a database of folks that do this type of service. So I looked through that and found 7 or 8 that were somewhat close to us. I mean, which was basically ends up being Missouri and the surrounding states, because there's so few folks that are doing this. So just directly solicited to them with an email, kind of explained the project, shared the MOA agreement that the city has with the Historical Preservation Office. And I guess I could give you guys a little bit of background on this. I hope you recall that when we did this, because the 3 buildings on the square are part of the historical district, in order to get the State Historical Preservation Office's clearance, that's what they established, was they understand that the buildings need to come down, but they still are part of that historic district, so they have a little bit extra requirements for their historical preservation. So in the end, they're requiring the city hire a historian or an archaeologist or a architectural historian to prepare a packet, basically a history of the buildings that will be turned into a pamphlet that the city will have available and also will make available through the library and this historical society. So, like I said, we tried to get several. We ended up with these two bids. I shared the MOA, which has pretty specific listing of what is required for that pamphlet. So they're aware of what work this project will entail. Had mentioned to everybody that we'd worked with that we understand we're pretty far away from everyone, so that, you know, if they were interested but were concerned about the distance, that our office would serve as kind of boots on the ground to take photos or whatever, just to try to keep the cost down. And I know Missouri State had offered that as part of their bid. They gave us two different prices, one using that and one not using that. It was still significantly higher than the private individual.
So do you need a bid on, or we need to?
Yeah,
vote
but
on
the
which
city would
one?
need to select which of these two they would like to hire to provide that service. It will be paid for through the grant, so.
Can you give the prices?
Yes, there was one for $3,500 and one for $9,000. If I'm not mistaken, I'll find it here. I have it highlighted.
910,
I'm sorry?
9,910.
Yes.
Or a reduced cost of $7,500.
Yeah,
Mhm.
7,000 if we did the legwork. So, yeah, pretty significant difference on the price there.
This one is Sedalia.
Yes, Rhonda is, and I've had several. She was very responsive. She called me, had a lot of questions. I didn't see that her price or her bid specifically listed us providing that, but I'm under the impression that was what kind of. Nobody would do it initially, and then once we tossed that in there, then that's when we were able to find four that would maybe consider doing it. She was one of them. She's, I think, I was a little older, and she said that she just doesn't like to get out and go very far. And when she said, I really love the work, I just can't handle the legwork of it. And when we suggested that we could do that, that's when she called me every day for about a week. She was very excited, very interested, and so.
So Mark, do we need to vote on each one?
I think if you just,
Vote to select.
yeah, and I mean, if you would just in your minutes indicate, you know, if it's price, indicate price. I mean, there's really not, I mean, obviously Missouri State's proposal is a little more in depth, but I think when I went through them and looked at them, they both checked all the boxes as far as everything you need to have for it, so.
So which ones would you guys want to go with?
I
The
feel like
3,000 or
the
9,000?
Sedalia, she's a little closer to
Yeah.
us, maybe.
Well,
It's a lot
I go by
cheaper.
the,
And if they're
both well
relatively
qualified, I go by
comparable.
the bid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a bit cheaper.
Is there a motion to accept the bid of $3,500 from Chalfant Historical Consulting?
Make a motion.
Donnie,
I'll say it.
Ricky, all in favor?
Uh,
All right.
Okay, well, I will, I'll reach out to CDG. They require us to do a procurement waiver if we have less than 3 bids. They typically grant that. I mean, they understand where we're at, as long as I can demonstrate pretty clearly that we've made a good faith effort to reach out to as many people as we could, and so I don't anticipate there'll be any problem with that. Once they do that, I'll let her know, and then she'll start working on it. She has a year to complete that. So obviously we need to get the photographic piece of it done before we start the demolition, but that report does not have to be prepared before demolition can start. So we have a year to do that. So yeah, that won't hold us up as long as we get the photos. And I'll make sure I work with her to make sure that happens. So.
How are they coming on the bids?
So you have, I have a notice to proceed for you to sign. for both the asbestos inspection and the demolition inspection, which if it's signed tonight, then they have 30 days to complete that. The asbestos, contractor, I sent him the contract. He was having technical difficulties with being able to, get it opened and printed and everything, so he indicated that he's just planning on stopping in here and signing it, so I've got a copy of that for you.
Okay.
The demolition inspection's been signed by, Mark Twain, so you'll just need to sign that, and we just have to have a copy of both those on the file, so they'll have 30 days from tonight to get those completed, so.
And then once we get those, we
Yeah,
put it
so,
out to bid.
well, so he has 30 days to complete the asbestos inspection. Typically, that's to complete it, that's for him to do his part of it. The results come in, then the results actually don't, the results come from the laboratory, basically, so those will come directly to us. We need those to be able to complete the environmental review. Everything else in the environmental review, which is like 120 pages, is done. They've signed off on it, so that should not, I mean, it should be a matter of, here's the results. And really, it doesn't matter if there's asbestos or not, it's just, it does, I didn't say that correctly, it won't impact the environmental review. It will impact, what our requirements are to meet so if there's asbestos in it, they have to put that in the environmental review, that there is asbestos and we are taking these steps to remedy that issue, or it can be in there that there is none, so you don't have to take these steps, but they can't just give you the blanket, if there's none, you'll do this, if there is, you'll do this. We have to have the results in there so that they can cross one of those off and just put the one in there, so. And that's something that's, I think, is a little bit new. I mean, in the past, they've always allowed you to have that as conditions of approval. So at the end of it, you would complete that at the end as opposed to the beginning. But I don't know where that changed. If that was just somebody was misinterpreting the guidelines, or if they've changed the guidelines, because I didn't really find anything in the guidelines that appeared to change to me. So I think it's just somebody's interpretation of that. But anyway, I've got the notice to proceed for both of those, and then the contracts for both of those. And I can, actually, if you guys will allow me like 2 seconds, I will have
Sure.
the mayor sign this. Excuse me, pardon me,
Anything that
pardon me,
gets it
excuse me.
going,
It's gotta be going if they can.
really.
Yeah. I think the very last page.
This is the only one I need to sign.
For me, and then I will leave the others for you, because of the asbestos inspection, he's gonna stop in, so I'll leave that with you and just have him sign it. Take that back, good. Okay, I will take that one, excuse me. I'll take that one back with me. I should have saved 2 trips there, I could have left these with you. So the notice to proceed, we'll have the mayor's signature. We'll have the contractor sign it, as well as the inspection report on that. So I made 2 copies of those for you, so I'll leave those with you, but, the mayor needs to sign, and then the contractor will sign there, and then on the last page of the, contract, the signature for the mayor and for the contractor.
This is after he comes in.
Yeah, he'll come in and sign the contract, and then just go ahead and have him sign the notice to proceed. Right there on both of those. And then I'll send that to Cindy and have her sign that.
Do those need to be signed with blue ink also?
Yes, please. I mean, they're not gonna kick us out if we don't, but that's one thing
If that makes them happy, we'll
that,
keep
it's
them
kind of the
happy.
way I try to work, because I do enough. I
I don't
mean, there's
know
so
that I
many,
like blue
there's
pen.
so many places that you can trip up. Those like that, I try to listen to what they say, so that yeah, I can try to be on their good side when I do trip up a little bit, so.
Okay.
But, Mr. Roberts from the asbestos inspection, he's working somewhere else, but he indicated that he's about ready to start. So we just thought that'd be just as easy just to sign that when he came in. And then I'll get that to Mark Twain and they'll start on the demolition inspection piece. I think we explained, it's just a visit to each property, review it, do a write-up with the measurements and anything that might impact the actual demolition, if there's basement or cellar or cistern. So that process will probably, we'll work with you all to probably, Rod, somebody from, as far as if there are any utility questions or anything like that, who we might ask on that. And then also like if there's sidewalk, things like that, if it's coming out and staying in. Because some of it's pretty torn up, so you think it's coming out and then they take it out and then they're like, you weren't supposed to take this out. So they want all that as crystal clear as they can be, so there's no misunderstandings there, so.
So the documents that the mayor just signed,
I will put them in our record and I'll send you a copy.
okay, that's,
Yeah.
that was.
And I'll probably do the same thing with those. I mean, you can make a copy if you want, or I'll come and get the originals at some point. And
Yeah, okay,
they just have to have the original, the wet sign is what they call it in the file, so. But I anticipate, like I say, probably 30 days to get the asbestos inspection done. I don't think that the environmental should take very long, because it's all done except that one step, and then once that's done, we'll procure for the demolition piece. We'll schedule a tour, basically an inspection tour, where we'll invite any prospective bidders. They can come. We'll take them to each property. They can ask questions or whatever. We'll get with you to schedule that as well. So if there's somebody from the city that can participate in that, kind of gives everybody get kind of boots on the ground, so they can again see stuff. And because the worst thing can happen is somebody underbid it, and because they haven't looked at it or because they didn't read all the specs and stuff. So because then they're not very happy because they're not going to make any money. So they're not. They don't have our best interest at mind at that point, typically. But
How long does the bidding process take from like you have this meeting, then how long do you have to have the bids out?
I think it follows the city's policy, and I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, was 2 weeks, a minimum of 2 weeks to allow it to be, allow the response. But it's in your procurement policy, and I apologize. We work with so many different cities, and they're all different. I'd hesitate to say that but we'll review that. Typically, it's done kind of similar. DNR has a list of contractors that you can use. You can directly solicit to them. You can post it anywhere. You can run an advertisement. You can do whatever your policy requires. And then I should have said we'll do the demolition and the asbestos abatement at the same point in time. So, and sometimes that's the same contractor that does both. Sometimes it's not. So,
Do you think it's feasible that we might be able to be looking at bids by the April meeting?
no. And if it happens, then you guys can be happy and not mad at, I don't want to overpromise anything, but you're talking, they have 30 days to complete the demolition or the asbestos inspection, and then that doesn't count how long it takes the lab or anything. He could come tomorrow and do it in 3 days, and we could be ahead, but very unlikely. And I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but I had somebody ask me yesterday, and I said probably June is when you'll be looking at maybe somebody actually knocking a building down. But if we can beat that, great. I hope we'd not. I'm not here at June, and you guys asking me why haven't we started yet? So, but I mean that'll be the next step. We'll get that all these pieces done, then it'll be really the heavy lifting with the demolition, and typically you'll have 4 or 5 or 6 contractors bid on it. There's bonding requirements that are pretty extensive that I think a lot of local contractors, I don't know, I don't wanna say that they're not aware of it, but once they look at it and see what it takes, that sometimes limits the number of local people that will participate. Not always. We've still had others that have done it before. So there's, I would say there's 6 or 8 that do this on a regular basis that are close enough that they'll look at this job and they'll put a bid in. And they all do good work from what we've seen, and it's pretty competitive. I mean, some of them do repurposing and things like that, and they take the metal and everything, instead of just tearing everything down, sending it all to the landfill. They'll take that out, they'll resell it so that they can afford to, they'll price it accordingly. They'll look at it when they're here that day and say, well, it's going to cost me X number of dollars to knock that down. I can get $2,000 out of that with this metal. That's going to save us $500 on the landfill bill, because it's not on the landfill bill, and so they'll build their bids accordingly. And those are the ones that have been successful in the past. They've been the most competitive price wise.
Okay, you guys got any questions for Chris?
All right, hopefully we can stop seeing each other like this every month.
I know, you're doing really good.
With all these signatures and stuff, it's
Yeah,
just one of those
hey,
things.
that's
I figured
alright.
it's probably just as easy to do this. Yep, well, yeah, exactly. Well, then, I'm hopeful that you guys won't be so tired of us that once this is done, we can have conversations of what's next. Is there another
Yeah.
project out there? Because they do make infrastructure funding available. They do community facility funding. They do make some other projects out there, and that's just CDBG. There's other opportunities like recreational trails for parks and stuff like that. So it's all a big, long process and lots of hoops to jump through. But
Yeah.
and then usually, I mean, it's usually worth it. Most people, I've had a few people say I'm never doing it again just because they hate paperwork so much. But most everybody says, well, we got a new park, or we got a new street, or we got got these houses out of the way. So
All right, well, thank you,
Thank you.
Chris. Okay, Mr. Cardwell.
Yes.
Okay. What was we discussed this before, so refresh everybody's memory what the proposal was that you,
What the county's proposing?
yeah,
What the county is proposing is that the city covers 17% instead of 33. You were in for a 33 1/3%. We are proposing that the county now pay 17% of whatever 911 assesses us to be the bill. And then that'll give you access to the 911 for your police department and the dispatching for that. And the ambulance district is still gonna put up 1/3, and the county's gonna cover the balance. We're gonna cover the remaining portion of what the city's gonna give up. So that's what we're proposing. We're asking we're asking that the city quit charging for the dispatching of the tower on top of the water tower. Right now, the ambulance district is paying a fee to have that radio tower dispatch off of the top of the water tower. We're asking that the city forgive that as well. Then what we're carrying on with is we've added a 1/2-cent sales tax to the April ballot. It'll be a county-wide vote, and if that passes, there'll be a board established. There'll be a board appointed, and then after the first year, that board will go to an election process. It'll be an elected board to oversee the 911 in Knox County. And of course, that's based on if the sales tax passes. The sales tax is adjustable. It's a variable rate tax that the board will have control over what they set that tax at. And obviously, it's going to have to be enough to cover the expenses of 911 dispatching, and who knows what that'll be in the future. We've talked to other counties, we've looked into other options, better options, and we feel pretty confident that we're on the right path here for the options that are presented to us. We also feel pretty confident that, 911 is, now that it's been here for this long, it's hard to take back. Public has been taught to dial 911, and when I was on Novelty Fire Department, every fire department had a number that you had to dial. People don't know how to do that anymore. People don't even think about it. They're gonna dial 911, it's gonna ring somewhere. And so we feel like 911 has to remain somehow. We've gotta find a way to fund it. And we feel that the half-cent sales tax is a fair way to do it. And if that passes, right now, the contract renews in July 1st. So if that passes, the tax won't go into effect until basically the first of, we'll have revenue basically the first of 2027. We'll actually start collecting a little before that, but there'll be no money to really start working on spending there. So we're looking at the city and the county and the ambulance district have already paid from now till July 1st is paid. So what we would be looking at for liability, if the tax passes, is we'll have to cover from July 1st to January 1st, to December 31st. So, if that happens, then that would cut your part of that basically in half, because you're only gonna be paying for 6 months. If it doesn't pass, then we regroup and we move on, and you pick up, you carry on. But we feel like the money, if you guys will commit to that, with the ambulance district and with the county putting up the remainder, 911 will at least stay in effect as it is, short term.
And this half-cent sales tax will replace the expiring courthouse renovation half-cent sales tax, correct?
Right, we eliminated, the courthouse is paid off. And so when the courthouse got paid off, that was part of that agreement, was, when that courthouse renovation was paid off, when that loan got paid off, the tax needed to stop. So that tax has stopped. I don't like trading that tax, I don't like that terminology, to trade a tax for a tax. If we didn't need the tax, I would not be in favor of asking for it. But the ambulance district needs it, the city of Edina needs it, and going forward with who knows what the cost is gonna be associated. Right now, the county's in a pretty good position to cover their part, but who knows what that's gonna be in a year or 2 years or 3 years. We know, we have talked to other counties that are trying to do their own 911 dispatching, and they got their hands full. The costs are going through the roof, and managing the staff and the technology, and it's a hard thing to keep up with. So anyway, that's what we're proposing as a county commission. City pays 17%. We would ask, not demand, but we would ask that y'all forgive the fee for the tower, the water tower, and come up with 17%. And who knows, when we get the bill, then we'll know what that is. So it's not actually a dollar amount. We're proposing 17% of what Macon 911 assesses us.
So if this passes, after this first year, does the city intend to pay the 17%
No.
after that?
No, if the sales tax passes, then 911 will be self-sufficient.
Okay, the money that's extra that comes off that, what are you guys can you guys put that toward the ambulance and the fire department?
The
That comes
county's
off the
money?
tax that pays that?
That is kind of fuzzy. It can be used for communications, we know that. It can be used for equipment like radios. If the fire departments need to buy radios, different, some of that stuff, they'll be able to spend that money in other places. As far as, that's gonna be up to that board to manage that. Once we appoint the board, it won't be a county commission decision. And then that board again is elected by the public.
So like the tire, the ambulance, and to pay that rent on that, could that come back and finish paying for that, off of that tax?
The $100 a month,
Yeah, that they pay now.
if it could, but there's stuff going on. I don't know all about that. I know the ambulance district needs all the money they can get. It's also, did they put the generator in up there for that? Some different stuff?
Yep.
So they're spending money on that anyway, and it's part of, and yeah, when it gets down to it, what that board will vote on and decide, I can't say.
Well, I try to keep all the money we can for that water tower, cause when we had it painted, and I guarantee in 15 years we'll paint it again, it'll be $200,000.
Right.
And we gotta pinch every penny we got to keep the water tower up, and we have to, cause DNR will allow.
Right, but on the other side of that, you're going from a $33,000, your 911 this year was 31 or 2,000 at this year's rate. And depending on what the increase is, you're looking at 34, 36, 40, who knows what it'll be in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But you've
That's
got
going
that
up.
30,000 you're holding back anyway, if the tax passes. If it doesn't pass, you're still holding back $16, $17, $18,000 in additional revenue you don't have now. So, I don't wanna get this splitting hairs over the water tower. That's just a request. That's not a demand. It's just trying to give and take and make something that will help everybody. And the ambulance district did not push that or demand that we do that. It was just something we're aware of and just trying to make it fit for everybody. It was something we're asking for.
So we don't have, if the money would be due then July 1st?
Yes. The money will be due for E911 will be July 1st.
Right.
Okay.
And
they
that,
They send us an
if-
invoice.
I go back, there's so many ifs when we start talking about the tax. If the tax passes, we would propose that we will negotiate with Macon. Once they understand that revenue's there, we're gonna propose that we pay for 6 months and let the 911 board take it over maybe January 1st. That's what we're gonna propose, if we pay for it all, if the tax passes, won't quit saying if.
When
You know,
the
it's
tax
just, there's a
passes.
whole lot of hypothetical.
Mhm.
The boat we're in right now is we gotta pay for it. We know it's gonna be over $100,000 this year. We're asking the city to pay agree to pay 17%. Which is basically half of what you're paying now.
Okay.
And the county's gonna pick that balance up to make sure that 911 stays in place.
Alrighty.
Any
Has anybody got
questions?
any questions?
Bill, you got anything to add to?
No, I think you hit it pretty much on that.
So do you need a decision tonight?
I don't think we need a decision tonight.
No.
Okay.
Do you know when you need a decision by?
Do what?
Do you know when you need a decision by?
By July 1st. And seriously, if the city pulls clear out, then we're gonna be scrambling.
Okay.
But if the city pulls out, the tax doesn't pass, the world comes, we've gotta figure out how to keep it going. I don't think there's really, in today's world, I don't think it's really an option to eliminate 911 because that's just how the world works now. And so how do we pay for it? Start cutting back services, you start, for right now, I'm hoping that the city agrees to this. The ambulance district has already agreed to it. The county commission has agreed to it. And my plan is for now, we're gonna keep it in place. And then if this happens, if that happens, and we'll adjust and move on.
Public safety should always be our number one concern. That's what we all are here for. One way or another, we have to.
So
pay
what's
for it.
911 cost now?
It was about 96, I think, this year, 97, 90, it was in the high 90s.
And last year, it what did you
Projected to
remember?
118,000 for next year on the budget.
Yeah,
That's what we got for our budget
Yeah, cause I
from
was
them
just,
for
for
next
like
year.
last year to this year, how much did it raise?
He communicated it wrong.
Okay.
Almost 10,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it'd be another 10,000 probably the following year.
Yeah, that's kind of the
Yeah.
average. It seems
Yeah.
like from what I've gathered, looking.
I will point out, the three of the counties that join us that are trying to dispatch 911, they're really in a hurt. Not really that's not fair to say they're in a hurt. I'm saying it's tight. The ones that are dispatching themselves are seeing the same kind of increases. So,
Did you say one county is paying like $400,000 a year to dispatch their own?
at a deficit.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about the one I'm thinking about, it's at a deficit. So,
100,000 looks pretty good. Yeah.
so going back to the public safety aspect, how do we do this? I mean, obviously, I don't feel like the fire departments are gonna be able, I don't know, however it happens. Let's just concentrate on this plan tonight. If we can't make this work, then we'll regroup and pull something else out. Cause I just feel like it has to remain in place. Has to somehow remain in place. So.
Yep.
If there's no more questions, if you have questions, direct them to us. We'll get you the best answers we can. When you start asking me a number of questions, it's hard for me to pull. I don't like pulling them out of up here because there's a lot of stuff that gets messed up here. I like to look at the actual number and give you the number
Yeah.
instead of what I think it is, because I don't want to misrepresent it.
Thank you, Les. Thank you, Bill. All right. We are 6 minutes into our public hearing for the potential increases in charges and fees for water, sewer, and trash. Do we have no one, does anybody want to comment on that?
I feel like we should just, I'm the only one here. I feel like just I'm gonna take my newspaper hat off and put my citizen hat on and just say that I feel like this is pretty foregone, the decision to move forward with this. Peggy explained it before we started the public hearing portion of this. I feel like it's pretty understood that the increase is necessary for the health of the Edina budget. But as someone who lives here and works here and is feeling the squeeze of this economy, I just want to put on record that it's going to be just one more increase on a budget that is not at a fixed, not a fixed income, but I'm on a budget that is tightly controlled. And even though this is probably a small increase compared to the things that we've seen with utilities as far as power and all of that, I just would like it to be noted in the public meeting minutes that somebody spoke out and said this is going to be hard. It's going to be hard on me.
How long has it been since we raised water rates? Peggy?
3 years,
3 years? Has anything else went up over
And this
3
is a-
years?
approximately 5%.
I think our power and our natural gas bill
We don't deal with them.
has been,
Well, I think
You
what
know,
you
like
have to
as far as-
realize too, and everything has went up.
mhm.
The cost of us doing business has went up. So do we remain at the same level of service and lose money? And then we won't be able to offer those services
Yeah.
anymore?
I'm just saying I would like it to be documented that someone was here to say this is going to be a hard lift. It's going to be a challenge for us to have another increasing bill.
And we understand that raising fees is one of my least favorite things to do, and I put it off way too long.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was,
Because it is,
we should
because I
do a
realize-
incremental rate every year, rate adjustment.
we should, and that's probably good advice. But I also realize we have a lot of senior citizens who are on limited budgets, and it is hard. But we also have to operate without funds, so.
No, it's not fun for anybody.
Do you have a average amount, not the 5%, but like what the average increase per household would be?
Yeah, we had that last month.
We had that last month.
Yeah, we've
I
got,
don't, I didn't
It
bring
was
that
printed
paper
off
with me.
last month, so we probably don't
Yeah.
have it
I
this.
get it, here, I can't remember what.
It wasn't very much.
It was as being
Trash is
someone on
going
fixed
up
income. I'm like,
75
okay.
cents.
On my
Maybe
water
Right,
bill, it would be
yes.
$4.
75 cents.
Yeah, so it's not
I
gonna be.
guess that's worth a half an hour more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your third job, my fifth job, yeah.
You can have that if you want.
I'm working
I
We got one.
remember.
You can have that.
25 cents. It's, you don't like to do it, but it's,
Necessary.
that's a necessary evil sometimes. Okay. Is anybody else?
A motion.
Can we vote on the ordinance? Do
So,
I have to read that?
You have the ordinance.
Yep.
Or you only have,
I think I had it in my book Bible.
Jill can get one.
Here's,
I think I have it in it. We gotta
Those
come up with
ordinances.
shorter titles for ordinances.
Yeah, true, this, you have to read.
So I get tongue-tied about 3 words in.
So do you need a motion to read this?
Yeah, you got
Title
your
only.
cheat sheet, yeah.
Okay, motion for
I'll make that
introduction.
motion.
Well, I gotta read it first.
Well, it says, I make the motion for you to read it
Yes.
Okay, so
And
Dot,
it's just the, by title only.
by title only.
Right, so-
seconded by
So Dot made
I
the
will.
motion and who seconded?
Donnie.
Donnie.
Alright,
Now you can read it.
bill number 737. An ordinance amending prior ordinances numbered 726, prior 682, and prior 672 to provide for an increase in customer service fees for solid waste removal services provided by the city of Edina, and further amending prior ordinance number 726, prior 682, and prior 672 to provide for an increase in customer service fees for water usage in connection with the operation of the city water systems provided by the city of Edina, and furthermore amending prior ordinance number 726, prior ordinance 710, and prior ordinance 692, section 1, and ordinance 682 to provide for an increase in the customer service fees for sewer usage in connection with the operation of the city sewer systems provided by the city of Edina.
Did they vote for you to read that?
We didn't
Yes.
do the roll call vote.
Uh,
Is that what we do?
You made the motion and Donnie seconded for you to read it.
Yeah.
And so, did
Now we gotta
anybody
vote.
else want you to read it? Did you vote yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
now she read it.
Yes, she read it.
Sort of had a cart before the horse, but.
That's fine.
Okay,
So now, somebody would like to make a motion for it to be
For the
read.
second reading.
The second
I'll motion.
reading.
Read.
And that would be Rick.
I'll second.
Stacy?
And
Okay, now we're gonna do a roll call vote. Dot?
Yes.
David.
Stacy?
David.
Yes.
Stacy.
Elmer?
Yeah.
David?
Yep.
Rick?
Yes.
Donnie?
Yes.
Alright, here we go again. An ordinance amending prior ordinances numbered 726, prior 682, and prior 672 to provide for an increase in customer service fees for solid waste removal services provided by the city of Edina, and further amending prior ordinance number 726, prior 682, and prior 672 to provide for an increase in customer service fees for water usage in connection with the operation of the city water systems provided by the city of Edina, and furthermore amending prior ordinance number 726, prior ordinance 710, and prior ordinance 692, section 1, and ordinance 682 to provide for an increase in customer service fees for sewer usage in connection with the operation of the city sewer systems provided by the city of Edina. Okay. Now, is there a motion to pass
Yeah.
ordinance 737?
Shall the bill pass? Anybody wanna make a motion?
Don't make me read it again.
All motion again.
Rick and David.
Okay, Dot,
Yes.
Delmer,
Yes.
David.
Yep.
Rick,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes. Yes.
yes. No, that still says parish, not.
Yeah, it still says parish.
We will make a correction on that. I got lost there. Goodness. Saying it's been a long day, but I didn't think it had been that long. Effective this date? Or you can put that in. Okay, now let's see if we got 738. I don't have 738.
Now it's time for this one, department reports.
The 737 and 738, I have,
Yeah, but 738 comes later.
okay. All right.
But you've got an amendment.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Peggy,
Okay, I'm wondering about several of the things that I'm gonna need to discuss with you are gonna be based on what our police chief has to say. Do you wanna shift orders and go?
you want me to get Roger and
Get
then you
Roger,
two
he'd be
can
next.
Sure,
kinda
that'd be fine.
tag team it? Come on,
That'd be
Roger.
fine.
Should be, actually.
All right.
Another one?
Yeah.
Cemetery over by Donna Allen, we cut a great big oak tree out there, by Harley Hamlin's, cut a big oak tree out there. Been dead for about 3 years. And
Well, the streets look great during the snow. You guys did a really good job.
thank you.
I could get out of town, but I could get around town, but getting out of town was interesting.
Everything running good?
Everything is
You said Isaiah and Mac
I'm
were
not
doing a
gonna
great
knock on
job.
wood.
wonderful.
How's Mike and Michael doing?
Real
Feeling
good.
better?
I don't know what time you got up going, but I passed it on early.
They're very busy. Mike and Michael are.
Cause either one of them had a chance to go to the clearance cannon. I don't even know how often they.
No,
meet.
they haven't
No.
been able to yet. They've been-
They're
Yeah, that-
extremely busy.
That,
We're probably gonna start helping them a little bit to help them. get
fiber. Yeah, they
Yes.
got a list of things to check tomorrow.
They, yeah,
Yeah, they're busy.
Yeah.
They're covered.
Have they hit any more water mains?
No, they hit a supply line today, but it's fixed.
Services.
Yeah. That's taken care of.
Okay. Is there anything you need?
No, everything's going pretty good.
Good.
Everything's going really good.
Good.
Very few breakdowns, and we've been able to fix everything pretty easy, and everything's going good.
Well, I know that one Monday it was so cold, they took the trailer out and gathered garbage instead of the
We
truck.
put the truck inside and let the hydraulics warm up before we crushed anything to let it. It's hard on it when it's that
Good
cold.
thinking. Alrighty.
That's all I have.
Okay, well, that's all right, we like short reports.
Me too, I'm good with it.
Thanks, Roger.
You're welcome.
David's meat looks good.
Y'all need anything?
How's it going?
Everything goes good?
It's burning by now.
You're the man.
Alright, enough. Leave me.
Okay. Peggy and David, you do it however you need to do it.
You wanna go ahead and
Yeah, that's
present
right.
and then I'll go after you.
Oh, okay. I'm not very good at dancing, but I'll lead you. I'm teasing you. I appreciate you. Let's see. Got a photographic memory, but I think which one of them, mine hasn't developed quite yet. Remember all that. Start off with, the CIT, they have annual training and stuff, and it's kind of continuous thing, the crisis intervention team, which have been a part of since, 2017. They have a, conference coming up in March. Anyway, I applied for a scholarship, and basically what that means is it's free, like the housing and stuff, they put you up down at Lake Ozark. So, you know, that's like someone's got, they call them EDPs, emotionally disturbed people or something like that, you know, so you talk to them, but that's something, that, Naomi and Jessica had brought to my attention, so I applied for it. Contacted Axion, and that's in regards to, body cameras. So I was made aware through Margaret that, the city had purchased, a contract to Axion, which they paid, the city pays $1,250 a year. They haven't been utilized because the equipment that they sent wouldn't allow them to charge the Axion body cameras. And they tried to send out some new equipment, and anyway, that hadn't been addressed. So I spoke with Sarah, and she was telling me that I did the hypotheticals. I said, so, okay, what if the city says we don't want this anymore and we want to start fresh? She goes, you could do that. So basically, they'd rewrite a contract. So Axion, they have right back in the back here, they have 2 body cameras. And anyway, they're generation 3, I guess you call them. So the ones they'd have would be generation 4. If they don't have the equipment to fix the systems, the body cameras right now, they would rewrite a contract. And I said, so would the city as a whole, would they get money or get some credit towards what we didn't get to use? And she said, I'll get back with you. She's got to talk to their legal team. But anyway, she said what they would do is, say for instance, she would do, and it's not because of money, she's gonna try to help out to get some money kicked back to us because it hasn't been operational, is that she would, rewrite a system, or rewrite a contract for 5 years and give us the generation 4, and then she would have someone come on site and do online, like a Zoom type training on that. And she goes, I don't know what happened with the previous situation, but said they've had several emails from Ryan stating, hey, these are not working right and whatever, and then they just kind of shelved off and it wasn't addressed again, so.
Well, at least they got documentation that we did complain and say they weren't working.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
good.
And I'm not saying nothing bad about anybody else, I'm just saying
No.
the equipment, if it's not working,
You
they
gotta
should,
stay on
they
it.
should make some, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was say, at least
And
she
she's
had
gonna-
emailed to.
And she's gonna
back it up.
contact me later this week and have some numbers and say, hey, you know, if it don't cost anything, we'll kick money back to you or credit you. She said, I'd go with the Gen 4, because at that point you're starting afresh. You don't have to try to reconfigure everything, whatever that.
Anything electronics is, every year they go up, so you wanna keep
Did
up.
she think that the contract would be pretty comparable to what we have?
Yeah, so it's $12.50 a year right now for that on a 5-year contract. So she said something new that they've come out with to kind of help municipalities and stuff is that instead of making $12.50 in one lump sum, you can split out into 2 payments. And she said it may went up a little bit with the generation 4s, but she don't know the exact numbers, but she said she get that all back, and I'll print it off and distribute to who needs to know.
But we've been paying for this all along.
Yeah.
Okay. This
Um,
would be good to have working ones.
Yeah.
How many do we have?
two. Also, A&W came up, last week. Anyway, the radio in the pickup truck that communicates with 911 or any other agency around, it wasn't working. And anyway, that was due to an antenna, and it had coax, and the water got up in the bottom of the little washer. Anyway, it got up in that antenna. Anyway, so he put a new antenna on. There was some radios back there for communication, like when you're out of your truck. The batteries was dead, so he sent 2 batteries. I'm sending one of them back because I'm on one right here, right now, so there was no need for 2. And there's a brand new radio. It's about $7,400. It's top of the line. It's sitting in the box that hasn't been utilized either, but it's there. So, so I'll go to my next topic, which is about a vehicle. So I contact the Highway Patrol, and they have a fleet agency. Everybody should have a copy of what. So anyway, they have 2021 Ford Explorer Interceptors, 60 to 65, is 27,000, all-wheel drive. And then 2022, same amount of mileage, 28, 23's same mileage, 31. And then you got Dodge Chargers and whatnot. My thinking is, whatever you guys, I was talking to Peggy last week, she was kind enough to come in. So she was saying there was money set aside, say $30,000 for a vehicle. I'd probably go with the $27,000. You guys go whatever what you want, but I'm just suggesting like the 2021 or the 2022 Ford Explorer. And the radio would, whatever A&W would charge to put the new radio in. And that also comes with a light bar, which is $900. And I Googled this. So it comes with $900 additional as a Wheeling Legacy LED light bar, the control box for your siren and stuff, and the wiring harness is $900. The Wheeling Legacy LED light bar alone is $2,100. So he said they have that for the Fords and the Dodge Chargers and stuff.
So then a truck we got, or we gonna keep it or get rid of it?
Well, so my thinking was that there's 2 different ways that you guys could, but my proposal would be, hey, you could drive that around once in a while. If you had a bicycle or you had a dog call, I wouldn't want to throw that in a different,
Yes.
an SUV or some other type of vehicle other than, putting a dog carrier in the back of a truck. But that's what I was thinking. Keep the truck for a secondary vehicle to kind of keep the miles off the other one.
Well, if you have to take one in to get the oil changed, you
Right,
need
then
something
you
to
have
drive.
a backup.
What do you think, Miss Peggy?
It's already budgeted, so it's within what, we had 25 for a vehicle and 5 for the equipment, and that's gonna fall within that, so. It's kind of a council decision, and then you've got the radio to put in it, the new radio.
Mm-hmm.
So is this
Which
something
one
you
you
can go
thinking?
look at?
Either the 21, 21 would be,
22.
yes, 21 or 22. That's, either one, but it
Tough.
saves
$1,000
$1,000
difference
bucks.
to get a year newer.
Right. And also, I was talking to Peggy about the, you guys have mentioned stalker radio or radar. So anyway, in addition, he's got it for $2,400. He had 2 of them, but I looked into the back one, which is a hard one. It's not necessary because that's for 4 lanes, and this other one's for 2, coming and going and rear and front. It's just 2 lanes instead of 4 lane type radar.
there money for like the radar gun, aside from the truck?
We'll just go ahead and let him go through things.
Okay.
We'll discuss it, how's that work?
Yeah, that's cool.
Then we'll work back through his list, but,
I guess, is there any, ideas on whether to do the Explorer or the Charger? Do we need an SUV or?
I mean, they're all-wheel drive. You know,
You just want a
Preference?
Charger, cause it's a hot rod. They are cool. Which would you have a preference to drive?
One of the top two ones, the 21 or 22 Ford.
Would you
Yeah.
rather have the
Yeah.
SUVs?
I would
That's-
personally. I mean, just because,
They're a lot easier to get in and out of.
right, cause you got 35 pounds of equipment on.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do either or, I got a Charger myself, but I just think you kinda get the best, it's a kind of a truck, but it's not a truck, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Can you go look at these?
Yeah, Chad down at MoDOT said he'd go down with me, I just give him a call and he'd ride down with me or pick me up down there when I'm in Columbia, and he'd run down to Jet City, and he knows the guy down there really well, so that's how I got a hold of Todd, it's through him.
Which ones do you guys think you would prefer to look at?
For $1,000, I think you'd just wanna go a year newer.
Yep, that's what I do.
I'd say one
If-
of those two.
If it's,
If you get down there and
look
one's
at it, yeah,
gone,
you just have to look at it, see how one's been treated to the other.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Door
So you
tore
have one
off
of
of
those
it, you
two.
might wanna go the other way.
Yeah.
Bumpers is gone. Various colors, is there a preference on the color that,
They have gray and silver, so I guess just a tinge off from the colors really.
Don't matter there.
So is there a motion for David to go down to Jeff City and look at these used vehicles,
I'll
To
make the motion.
authorize him to select.
Yep.
to select a vehicle?
I think Donnie just
Yeah,
did that.
I'll make
Donnie?
the motion.
Donnie and David.
Or done with either.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, you can go pick out a police car.
I guess between us, 21 or 22 doesn't matter, and pick out the better quality.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah,
Whatever
This,
feels right for you.
right. Yeah, definitely.
and the $900 package.
The $900
Yeah.
Yeah,
equipment package, yes, that goes with it.
yeah, so it'd be, so if it went with the 2021, it'd be 27.9, or the other is 28.9, so. But that's a really good deal when you compare
Yeah.
the new light bars and stuff, the expense on them.
And
Well,
those
what
are-
else will I put back in, radio?
What's that, sir?
What else will we have to put in it?
Well, yeah, there's a brand new radio, and the A&W
Yeah.
guy said that he'd put the analog one in there too, because you have that, there's an extra one sitting in there, so you can talk to different agency, cause like that one, the new one's got the Moshwin, and the other one allowed you to, I guess, talk like, here's an ambulance, traffic.
So based on that decision, then there is money for the radar gun.
Okay,
Because we had a total of $30,000 and you'd be staying within that
okay,
to equip it.
yeah, cause the city's tax exempted it, yeah, so there would be.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
it's not like when we go buy a car, we gotta pay all the sales tax.
do you know,
Correct.
have these, vehicles been, the decals taken off already, or?
Oh, yeah, everything, they're stripped down, yeah,
Ready to go.
right.
So the two radios that we have,
One's
Be-
brand new, and one's,
one will be enough of the radios to put in the new one, or
Oh,
will we
yeah.
need to get different ones?
no,
Okay.
no, he said these are the top of the line, he said, they're just sitting there collecting dust, he said, it's top of the line.
Good, good
I was just
deal.
trying to see what else we had to come up with to.
Well, for them to install it, I don't know what their
Well, that
install
shouldn't be
is,
that,
but.
yeah, that wouldn't be nothing.
Good deal, sounds like you're gonna get you a
Yeah,
new
and I,
pick 'em up truck.
there's some things that, the truck needs, but, I mean, it's drivable and stuff, someone had a rip, it's only like 11 years old, but there's a rip in the seat and stuff, someone I don't sell. I was in the
Yeah.
military, I did, but
Yeah.
anyway, someone would get a seat cover for $50, you know, put in there so it don't just continue to rip out, but
Yeah, and if it's gonna be a backup, we don't need to sink a ton of money into it,
right.
as long as it's safe to drive.
Let's see. Since I've been here, there was a dog complaint. Some guy, their neighbor was more concerned about why the dog wasn't in and about the neighbor, you know, cause usually he goes out and takes care of the dog, but they thought maybe he fell or something, but. And the, abatement of the truck, I talked to, that gentleman that on a Monday, and he got it towed by Wednesday, cause he told me he'd have it removed by
It was
Wednesday.
on the next day.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Good deal. So we need to vote on the radar gun,
Yes.
and you were talking the 24,000, or the
no.
2,400?
I'm selling my tobacco.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
We ain't gonna buy that radar gun.
Take a while to
Is
make that
there
one.
a motion to purchase the radar gun for $2,481? Delmer? David? All in favor? Good deal. Now you get a radar gun.
So basically, and I didn't explain that well enough, so basically, it has a front antenna and it has a rear antenna, and it's mounted in there, it's not a handheld, so I didn't explain that, but it's
Yeah.
mounted in there, so you got, like, you can sit stationary and run traffic
Both ways.
both ways, yeah.
And, you know, I never thought about it until when we were interviewing you about that. You gotta have probable cause to stop somebody, and then who knows what you'll find.
Right. And, spoke with, a guy that I've known from the task force when I was over here at Sheriff's Department and stuff, and he got, in touch with me later that day, so. Anyway, since you guys, I think it's like $1,600 you're paying a year for their services, so. We got some ideas and some places we're gonna be looking at, so.
For the drug task force,
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause
I
there's.
got one in mind you could look at.
So, one more thing, then I'll be done. So I was talking to Peggy, and I spoke with you prior to the meeting about this, so, task force comes out evening, overnights, whatever, you know what I mean, and they always like, he asked me, he says, hey, do you have anybody else to come out and help? You know, like, there's a particular truck, he said, we stopped this truck, and I said, well, it'd have to be me, and he said, well, you're working day, I said, I can fluctuate. Anyway, since there's no money in the budget for, like a part-time officer, I spoke with two other chiefs, one in Milan, one in Ellsbury, and anyway, Ellsbury does this predominantly, and there's some other places I got on my cell phone, but anyway, so they have a thing where it's a volunteer type, where an officer can come in and work without pay, and the way they get paid is by going to do online training. And I was talking to Peggy about that, and she said the only thing she'd have to look into for liability is to see, you know, if they're covered, if it costs increase to cover them. And he said he'd be willing to work 30 hours a week.
But it's volunteer, it's like continuing education.
Right, so he's getting paid in a sense, just by the online training. And I've known him 24 years, and I think he's worked probably 3 years in law enforcement. He's he's at the juvenile center in Kirksville right now. But he's wanting to go part-time and just work there Saturday and Sundays, and he'd like to come over here and work up to 30 hours a week. He has bigger plans down the lifeline, but anyway, that's what he'd like, and he asked me to talk, so I'm talking
We
like,
gotta
yeah.
volunteer somewhere, we might as well.
But I
Yeah,
got
we'd
the
have to
information,
figure-
I
yeah.
got some statutes on it in there if you wanna look at it and stuff, where other departments do the same thing.
Yeah, we'd have to just check into the liability side of it.
Yep. But that's all I have.
Alrighty, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So you found a place to live?
Yeah, on north side of town, waiting for Jeremiah, I guess his name is, Shrek. Anyway, he's got that, and he's finishing it out, and he had some, people from economy come up and, you know, help with contracting and stuff and fix it. So he's doing it mostly. He said that as of last Friday that he would have, should have it done by this Friday. So,
Good deal. Good deal. Be glad to get you in the city. All right.
Oh, now fun part.
Sorry about that. I'm always the bad guy.
I said the fun part, not the bad guy.
Oh, a couple of other items that I would like to do with the police department while we're talking about that is maybe go ahead and authorize the mayor to sign a contract on the body cameras. When you get more specific information, if you all are comfortable with that, I think working body cameras are a good protection.
oh, and I forgot about a vest. There was no,
I'll put that on my list.
thank you.
So do you want me to wait till the end of it? And-
No, go ahead.
Okay, is there a motion to
No
allow?
motion.
Okay.
Rick,
Rick, David,
David,
all in favor?
Alright.
All right,
Get
I'm
that
your
out of the way.
signer.
Okay, you know, when we prepared the budget, obviously, I didn't have all the information I needed for the police department, so as we're talking, he does not have a bulletproof vest, and I don't want him working without one.
No.
No.
So I would like to see us, add about $1,700 to our uniform, amend the budget for $1,700 for the, a bulletproof vest and uniforms.
We need a motion to
So
amend the budget.
the cost of,
Well, the
The-
cost that they quoted for that is 1,200, and we'd budgeted 500, but I would like to go ahead and get it, if he gets there, cause he's gonna have to go someplace to get it fitted.
Right.
If he goes and it's not 1,200, it's 1,500, I don't want him to say, oh, I can't do that, because I don't want him to start working without it.
No.
Yeah.
what I started to say was the cost of the radio,
Oh.
that we've had to do, and you haven't got the invoice in here, I don't think, because you've returned some batteries and they keep amending it.
Yeah.
But it's around $800, and when I was getting ready to code it, I thought, okay, it's not really in office supplies, it's not vehicle maintenance, and so,
Okay,
and that's something that, it's not like we're gonna have it every year, but this year, everything had
But we
to
gotta
be-
add it to that, right?
it had to be updated.
okay, so we'll probably.
And
go in-
uniforms for this first year will be over that, what we have,
We had 500 budgeted,
Yeah, but they'll be
So-
over that because it's his first year to,
correct.
Yeah.
So I thought if we had 2,200 in there, cause he's already
the
ordered
vest
some.
and the
and-
uniforms
Yes,
added there, okay.
yes. So for a total of 2,200 is kind of what I was looking at.
And
Yeah.
so then the extra that, for the radio equipment, I don't know where
Okay,
that
and
is.
that's gonna go under your supplies, maintenance
okay.
and all of that. And we've only got $1,000 in there, so we're gonna have to increase that also.
Yeah, at some point.
So,
It doesn't have to be done, or, you know,
no, we can do that next
Yeah,
meeting when we
right,
have
it
it,
doesn't have to be
when we
done
have a
now
price.
because
but
that's
that's,
in there.
that's good. I'll make a note there. Thank you, Margaret.
Yep.
Okay.
So you
And
need
I
a-
also noticed in here you had something about, becoming a part of the Missouri Police Chiefs Association. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks like, because we have under 10 employees,
$30
that was
or
gonna be
something.
$125.
Oh, no, they had a, someone had that one so I can look at it real quick, please. I didn't prep myself off one.
This,
I think,
Yeah.
the
Yes,
third active, I think that's what it fell under for $50. And this ain't a, you know, it's not a need, I just printed off because they sent me some information, like, hey, you get, you know, privy to certain stuff and you get training, you know what I mean, through that. So,
Well, that's not very much for a year. I know Margaret gains a lot from being a part of the city clerks.
City clerks, right.
It's kind of a council decision, but
And how much was it?
well,
the third active, here, let me go in here. and
It
get something
says
real quick.
active under 10,
Mhm.
same as above.
Yeah, it says
10 or
active
the
membership.
third active, wouldn't that
chiefs of
mean
police.
you'd have to have other active memberships?
Active under 10 is 125.
I would think that might be the one, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Cause they have three different,
it's for
Active
agencies
under-
less than 10 on.
and the second active membership is 250, yeah, so second must have one current, so second active is 125, third,
Third active must have 2 current active members within the department.
Hmm.
So that would be the $50.
yeah, because that include Margaret and myself, right? Is she, is that correct?
She's
wouldn't-
not
I'm
on it.
No.
Oh,
It's
she's
just
not.
you.
No,
No,
I'm the
I
city
thought maybe
clerk.
she
No.
said clerks, and I was
Yeah.
No,
like,
well, the
City
city
clerk.
clerks
Yeah.
association.
Well, I know she gains a lot from the meetings.
Yeah.
From
And
the
so
city
he
clerk.
would probably,
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's a valuable source of information.
so it looks like our due would be $50 a
I
year.
think it would be 125.
Yeah.
Well, the third active must have at least 2 current active members within the department.
And we don't have
We
any.
don't have anybody.
Active membership
He would be the
for the
first.
chief.
Oh, for the initial one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Active under 10 would be 125, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Are they the ones that turned you on to that volunteer program, or is that the type of stuff that they do? Help with grants and.
They have some of that, but basically it's about training and stuff, and so they have a state statute, and that's another good reason, I'm glad you brought that up. They have a state statute, and they haven't came out with the training, and the prerequisite for all this, but since August of 2023, any new chief from that time forward has to attend 40 hours of training. And that would kinda help reduce that price, but you can do it online instead. You can do part of it down in Jeff City, another part you can do online. It depends on the, you know, the needs and, you know, they're doing it on certain days. If I can't get away, then I can do it online. But they're still trying to get that all set up. We're gonna try to get it done by the middle of this year because we're going on 3 years for them to make that, you know, statute
Right.
where it's required by law, but she's hoping they'd have that done by June.
So like on this one, the active, would that be like a chief police, wouldn't it fall under your $250?
Except this says if you have less than 10
10.
officers. So we would get a cheaper price because we have less than 10 officers. I think.
I don't know.
Well, when they go to fill it out before they pay it, I'm sure Margaret will call and get the
Yeah.
correct
Well,
pricing.
it's, I mean, it ain't like
It won't be any more
$1,000 or
than
anything, but it's-
$125.
Right. So if you wanna authorize him to become a part of that, I think it would be
Is
great.
there a motion to authorize David to become part of the Missouri Police
I'll
Chiefs
make that
Association?
motion.
Scott,
I'll second.
Donnie, all in favor?
Aye.
You got it. All right,
Okay.
and we still need to amend the budget, or are we done with it?
You figure out how much we need a budget?
Did you say
Ben?
17 or?
Yes,
Is there a motion to amend?
to increase it to 2,200, so that'll be
To
increasing to
increase, is
17.
that
Uniform fund.
the uniform fund?
Increase the uniforms.
Uniforms for the
To-
police
To
department.
2,200?
Is there a motion to increase the uniform fund to $2,200?
A motion?
Rick
Delmer.
and
Delmer,
Delmer.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Be the best dressed man in Knox County.
Yeah. And you know,
dressed and connected.
not to interject or be rude or anything, but you know, things that had been, you know, I mean, supplies, you know, I mean, if you had clothes back here, you know, I mean, that would save $700, but you know, people different size and stuff, whatever. So there's just that kind of onboarding, cause I was telling her, I was like, I don't wanna think I'm just trying to burn through money.
Right, yeah.
But there's specific needs like radios and stuff
Can't
like
have you run
that.
around naked now.
Ryan's
Yeah,
clothes
you run around
regularly.
naked.
Yeah.
Street clothes,
Yeah.
be undercover.
But we wanna provide you the tools that you need to do the
Yes.
job.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It
No,
looks
thank
like you've
you.
gotten a lot done in a short period of time. Okay, I just kinda wanna do an update, cause I know you have decisions to make. I don't have to make those decisions, I just have to give you enough information to make it, so, with our operating fund, just a reminder that the majority of that is collected during November and December, cause that's our real estate plus the property taxes. So our highest balances are right now, and so they look nice and healthy, but that's what we've got to pay bills for and his salary for, you know, for the rest of the year. As well as you do have to have a reserve. In the budget for 2026, we had $12,000 that was not encumbered. So, once we reach $12,000, we're gonna be dipping into reserves. So, you know, as we approve, you know, the additional things that we've needed here tonight, you know, that's obviously gonna reduce that balance. So just so you'll know that anything else that comes up, you know, and that's why we have talked about right now, we do not have the funds to have a part-time officer. I know he would like for us to work towards that in any way we can, and he's gonna be doing his part and looking for grants and obviously he's looking for resources, so, we know that's one of the things that he wants to have is somebody else to work part-time. Last time you'd asked a question about keeping Naomi part-time for 3 months, and I was basing that on, yes, we still had $12,000 that we could spend, and we didn't, you know, she had filled in and done what we needed to do when we needed her, and we wanted to make sure that we treated her well. So that's kind of where we're at, which means, you know, if you decide to go with a 911, it's gonna be using reserve funds because there really aren't any funds this year. It would take us into the negative. Just so you'll know when you make that decision, that's where things are. One of the other things I wanted to discuss with you, and I had it on the list last time, then I wasn't here. I would like for us to start thinking about the codification of our ordinances. It's an expensive process. Our original book is like 1951,
Yes,
like
1950 something.
75 years ago. Obviously, there's been a lot of ordinances passed since that time. I don't understand the whole process, but when you're done, they would be in order so that, like tonight, when you voted for the increase, then it would override the other ones, and it would be at the top. The other ones would be below it, but then they would be essentially nullified because of the. So it's going to simplify things, would make things a lot easier. I kind of looked online briefly. There are companies that come in and essentially do it. There's options to where you can put the information in, and then they'll take that information and work with it. They're also going to look at, okay, do you really need this ordinance about spitting on the sidewalk or riding a bicycle on the sidewalk? You know, some of those things that probably had a purpose when they were done, but is
Like
it
tying your horses up or something?
those type of, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I don't think we need that anymore.
There's some
Probably
really
not.
ridiculous
Never
ones.
know.
Well,
Uh,
you never know. We are getting a good Amish population.
I was gonna say,
uptown,
Amish weekend.
she, every Friday, she's uptown selling her baked goods. She parks her horse at the water tower.
Yep. They work out here at the grocery store, they're always tying up behind.
So anyway, I'm just bringing it up, I want to start thinking in that direction, maybe if we can do a little more research and find out some costs and so forth and bring it back to you.
Would that allow us to have like a digital copy, like on the city website?
Yes,
So if people had
Yes.
questions, they could find their own answers.
yes, that information would be available and accessible is my understanding.
So, how
Yeah.
much did the cost?
Oh,
It is.
approximately 15,000.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's expensive.
And it's not it's not like you
Overnight
do it
deal.
in 6 months or anything.
Yeah, it's a 2 year probably.
Because the board has to be directly involved, it's like they will present ordinances to you and you'll have to be making decisions about whether or not those are ones that need to be taken off the books. So yeah, it's, as Peggy said, it's not something we just jump into.
But if we started talking about the process now, that's something we may be budgeting for
Next
in
year.
2027. But if we don't start the process now.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have to hire a company for this, or is this something you could do local, hire someone local to do it?
Well,
Maybe.
you need to have some attorneys involved. I mean, that's what the companies provide.
You say John Bodie might be excellent at something.
So,
No.
You know.
I appreciate that. And I'll just say, John Bodie has been behind the scenes and supportive of the city for so long. I remember many years ago when I was knowing we needed to raise the rates, and he was here with economic development. He stepped in and helped me with that process, knowing that we had to do a sewer project. And his advice and counsel really is what allowed the city to get that grant. I don't think we'd have gotten it otherwise, because we were prepared. We had set aside money, we had our rates such that we could pay for a new system. And so he was really instrumental in that. There were very few chosen, and we were one of them, and I really give him credit
Right.
for that.
yeah.
And he knows his way around this kind of stuff, and if we're gonna pay somebody that kind of money,
He does.
it'd be nice.
He also, when we were talking about sidewalks, he volunteered his time, went and mapped the entire city out, did the specs and all of that for a grant, on his own time, so he has done a lot for the city, and I appreciate that, but I do think we need legal counsel
Right.
for that. So I'll bring that up. And then the one last thing is I want to remind you that I'm not young anymore, and I would like for you to think about another treasure. Get somebody in here and get them trained. I'm willing to help, assist, do whatever I need to, and I know Margaret's got a transition coming up that we've talked about. I'm going to help her with, but I would like you to find somebody qualified to start thinking in that direction.
Do we need to advertise, or how do you think we go about doing this?
Word of
We've tried
mouth is
before.
generally just as good. Preferably, if you could get a CPA, you're gonna want somebody that, knows governmental accounting or is willing to learn governmental accounting, because it's different than business. But most of your CPAs will have had that training anyway.
And they also need to have an interest in our community.
Yes,
I mean, that's been your strong suit. I mean, not everybody would give of their time.
yeah, cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, that's it.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. We now have proposed ordinance 738, which is much smaller. Is there a motion for the first reading by title only?
make that motion.
Donna?
I'll second
Stacy? Stacy? Okay. Dot, Delmer,
Yes.
David.
Yep.
Donnie,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Okay. An ordinance of the city of Edina, Missouri to authorize the mayor to execute a contract between the city and the Missouri Department of Transportation Rural Statewide Transportation Alternatives Program for sidewalk construction along a portion of Highway 6 and 15. Is there a motion for the second reading?
I'll make a motion for second reading.
Donnie? David? Okay, Dot,
Yes.
Delmer,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Donnie,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Okay. An ordinance of the city of Edina, Missouri to authorize the mayor to execute a contract between the city and the Missouri Department of Transportation Rural Statewide Transportation Alternatives Program for sidewalk construction along a portion of Highway 6 and 15. Shall this bill pass? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Stacy?
I'll second it.
And Rick. Dot?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Delmer?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Donnie?
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
So moved. Sign my name a lot tonight.
Good thing you have a short name.
Yeah. All right, I don't have anything to add. I think everybody has covered any questions we had. Sidewalk grants coming, demo grants working. Should be hearing something on the cardboard baler before long. Fire department grants coming along. Poor Margaret has to do all the paperwork on that. I think we can never open 4 grants on her again. It's just awful. I had to listen to all the reporting requirements on that fire department grant.
Oh, yeah.
So next time somebody says, oh, just get a grant for it. It's like, well, then you can come do the paperwork because it is not fun. Do you all have any comments? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
Donnie and David, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you guys.
I assume we have checks to sign.
Yes.